Right, beekeeping season. The rape's out across there, you can just see it, but the bees haven't been able to get there because of the weather. We've had that east wind and it's been absolutely freezing here. The daffodils are nearly over. There's some mid-range daffodils there. I've got some late season daffodils coming up over there. But the fruit trees have started to come out. That's a plum tree, and the hedgerows are starting to flower, not the mayflower but the blackthorn. Now this was supposed to be 56 acres of rape, but with all that wet weather it all got washed out and there was not one plant came up, and now it's going to be a wilderness of wheat or barley. As you can see, they're putting it in, they're just getting ready in the top field there to put it in now. This is a blackthorn, and there doesn't appear to be any bees on here at the moment, but there has been. Certain plants yield nectar at different times of the day, so you can often look at a plant and think, oh, the bees are not working it, and then later in the day when you're not looking, they'll be here working it. Right, we're in the apiary now, and the willow has just come out. The bees are absolutely hammering this willow here, getting all the pollen. I don't know whether you can see them flying in there, but there definitely is a buzz on the air. I thought there could have been a swarm, but no, they're just quite happily humming away in this willow. Right, this is a colony I'm going to have a look in. I think it was a new one last year. I don't think all the frames were drawn out at the bottom in the brood chamber, but we're going to have a look and see what's inside. I can't even remember if there's just a feeder on the top from last year. We'll just have to go in and find out. The first thing to notice is just see how the bees are and how they're working. Now these are working absolutely fine. You can see they're working right in the sort of, well, mainly in the middle of the hive, which is a good sign because they've got both sides to expand. You can see them bringing pollen back in, which is always a good sign. There's always a nice hum to a good hive compared to a queenless hive, and these are going out and working quite fine. Right, a quick look inside. This is how I left it last year. I used a super or two supers, and I fed them with a bucket. The bees are there on the top, and this hasn't got a crown board, but it has got a canvas on top. And usually I put some sticks under this canvas so that the bees can go over the top during the... Right, I'll just lift the canvas up and have a look. As I suspected that some of these frames haven't been pulled out, but it looks like they're doing fairly well here because they're sort of quite packed in here. Now the nice thing about with a canvas is that you can just pull over slightly to expose just a few frames. So I'm going to just take these end ones out and just have a look. Now this is the end frame here, and you can see that they've been using the food because they're breaking it down and adding water, and just you can see the little bits of crystals still left in there. This is on the first frame, so hopefully I'm not going to find many more like this, because it'll be slightly worrying that they haven't got any food. Now I'm just going to place that down at the side, and then I'm going to gently break into these frames. I'm trying to film this and also do it with one hand. I usually push this in and gently ease the frame. Sometimes if you snap a frame open, it will cause the bees to jump up. I'm just going to put a little bit of smoke over here. You never know what the bees are like at the beginning of the year. Right, there's not very much food in this hive at all at the moment. You can see the bees working on this to use it up. They'll be going through these cappings and they'll be pulling it out. As you can see there, they've nearly emptied these cells. So it's slightly worrying. I'm going to have to watch this one for food. I'm just going to put that to one side in the hive and just move up just one more frame. Right, this is the next frame along. You can just see the glistening of the nectar they're bringing in, so they're fetching in some nectar. I can't imagine they're going all the way to the rape yet, because the weather hasn't warmed up all that well, and they've got a bit of stores at the top, but not much that would be soon taken down to feed the larvae. I haven't seen any eggs or larvae yet, but so they're basically going to be on 2 or 3 frames still. Now we've got to the pollen frame. You can see all the pollen they've been bringing in. We haven't got any brood as yet. This side is fairly empty. There is some food at the top, and then we'll go to the next frame. Now this is a different story. The bees are getting a bit more agitated now. I've got a bit further in. You can see all the brood there, and you can see some larvae there as well, which is all good. That's good seal brood, so that will soon hatch out. And on the other side you can see the brood, and obviously some have hatched out and they've been relaid. I can't see the queen as such. Let's have a look. The trouble is, when you're doing this, you end up concentrating on the filming and not looking for what you're supposed to be doing. Right, okay, the queen's bang in the middle there. You can see her walking around. She's on sealed brood at the moment, so she must be laying up. You can see that she's laid up all the way around the sides here. Now this looks extremely good. I'm not going to leave this out. I've just lost her now. She was on this frame. Yeah, she's just there at the bottom there. Right, so it can be deceiving on the health of the bees and all that. This is definitely in need of a little bit of extra help with a bit of food. So a little bit of food fed on there tonight. I'll put the hive back. I would have cleaned all the tops on that, but I'm not going to disturb it all that well. But a busy hive at the front one day could be a dead hive the next day. So looks like I'll be leaving these empty supers on and feeding. I've just found this on another colony, and as you can see there's plenty of honey in here. It's where they've been robbing out. It died out, the hive did, and there was a full super of honey on. Well, not quite a full super, but there is about 5 or 6 frames, and I'm just going to drop that on instead of feeding tonight, this one. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5